What is going on, true believers? I hope you are having a great morning. I am having an excellent morning so far. We're up in a couple of different categories here, and I just got a bunch of Tau. So not only did I get a bunch of Tau, but I'm also invested deeply in the Tau project, and it's having a little bit of a recovery. And guess what? I bought it low. So I'm going to sell it soon to make some money off of it. But looking really, really good right now. And the markets, despite the fact that we've had this sort of bearish momentum, it seems to be in recovery mode unless you're talking to all these other bros ski, chick ski, man ski, girl ski. I don't know. Look, man, make up whatever you want. This is not financial advice. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about more. This is the week that we're going to find out whether crypto has got what it takes or not. Really, that's what we're going to do. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below letting me know that you support the channel. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleeves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, guys. It's going to be an interesting week. But before we get started, let's talk about what's happening right now. And before we do that, let's get into chat. Penguin, in my country, lawmakers advance a 36% tax on savings, equities, and crypto, including unrealized gain. How much worse is this than in yours? I mean, we have capital gains, and it's on every transaction, by the way. So, you know, your basic, and look, if you're in DeFi, I think that's a little bit different. If you're on centralized exchanges, you are reported to the IRS. So I think what most people are doing here in the United States, in all honesty, is they're reporting their taxes based on centralized exchange and not on DeFi. But also, it's 37% is the capital gains tax. And after 37%, if you hold the money for over 1 year, then the tax rate is only 11%. So you get a little bit of a bonus if you just hold your money for an extended period of time. So Jordan's Tool Belt, good morning. Stephen ERC, Stephen Merck, I'm sorry, Steve Merck, not Steven, Steve Merck. There we go. Now we got it right. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. By the way, check this shit out. Yes, a couple days ago, Bitcoin investors, George said it didn't look good. Now all of a sudden we're bullish again. So could have ignored all that shit and been following me the entire time. And also, happy birthday to Randy Hipper. It's her 23rd birthday right now. So all you creeps, y'all are gross. Y'all are gross. That's not, by the way, that's not her appearance. That's not her appearance. A beautiful young lady. That's not my point. Y'all are gross. You know who you are. All right, top crypto market events to watch this week, bearish or bullish this week in crypto. We've got a bunch of different events here. We've got the FOMC events and Fed policy signals on Monday, February 19. That's not true at all. This is what we need right here. It's February 16th, by the way, on Monday. This week's schedule is insane. Monday, the FOMC Vice Chair speech. Tuesday, the BOG trade meeting. Wednesday, FOMC meeting. Thursday, Fed balance sheet. Friday, US GDP. Get ready for extreme market volatility. And we're going to get the Tuesday, we also get the Fed notes. So Tuesday, that's going to be that BOJ trade balance. Not only that, but we're getting the FOMC minutes from the United States. So this is a very big week all the way across the board for cryptocurrency. On Wednesday, February 21, the Federal Reserve will release the minutes from its January meet. And by the way, that's not true. It's the 18th. This guy is 3 days off on everything. He's using a calendar from like 5 years ago. The minutes are likely, 3 years ago, by the way. The minutes are likely to be very informative about the outlook of the Fed, especially interest rates and rate of policy changes. Furthermore, the Fed will release an update of its balance sheet on Thursday, February, it's actually the 19th, but will provide insight into the level of liquidity and any changes in the strategy of the bank. We're going to see a lot happening over the next couple of days. And then we get core PCE, which is going to be real GDP in the fourth quarter and core PCE price impact. So we're going to see some real data here that's going to start to move markets. This is the opportunity right now for Donald Trump to step in and really sort of rally these markets. Now, will he do that? Will it happen? I don't know. I think that we're at the point right now where nothing that Donald Trump says is really moving markets unless he makes a major announcement. And when I say that, please understand that the natural cycles of the market are to move with the news. So if he comes out with good data, the markets will move. I'm not saying that they don't move, but I'm saying that if we want a significant relief rally, a significant recovery, then we got to get more than what we're currently getting. That's what I mean by that. So be watching for this kind of stuff over the next little while, and we'll see what happens. So back into chat right now, we got Bull Run Rich and we got Daniel Delgado in the house. We've got Derek Hine. Bull Run Rich says, I hope people don't really listen to George, the Jim Cramer of crypto. You know what? I don't know. Look, I'm just pointing out the data. When I flipped over there just to see what was going on over there, he's got 1.8 thousand people watching right now. Gets about 30 to 40,000. That's what we need here. So guys, I need you to hit that like button. Do everything you can to help me out if you're willing to. Whatever you're willing to do. We got Roy G in the house. Good morning. I know most of you are probably over there, got Randy Hipper in your little secondary window watching her for your zest or whatever it's called. I don't know what the fuck it's called. But yeah. So, and by the way, Lupin69 says, hey, Bleaves, am I still blocked? Doesn't look like it. Don't say anything messed up and you won't get blocked. I mean, that's pretty much the way that it works, right? George brings nothing of value. All he talks about is Bitcoin, and he is very dim, in my opinion. I don't know that that's the case. Here's what I know. The guy created a brand, and he made a bunch of money off of his brand, I could only wish to do that. So if I denigrate him in some way, it's jealousy. It's not me saying that I'm better or anything like that. I mean, he's done a great job and a fantastic job, and he's been a great promoter of cryptocurrency over the last bunch of years. So, there's not much that I can say to hate on him because I don't have the path. I don't have the way to do that. I mean, people pay attention to him. They don't pay attention to me, not in the same way. So I can only hope to have the attention that George has in this market. So who knows? Anyway, to continue on, we've got next up is Harvard Management, HMC, cuts their BlackRock Bitcoin ETF exposure by 21%, but they rotated it into Ethereum. Do you see which way we're headed right now? People are starting to make movements, and they're speculating, by the way. This does not mean that we're going to get a pump on Ethereum, but they're speculating right now that we have reached a local bottom on Ethereum. That's the only reason to make this sort of move when they make this sort of move. Now, the smartest people on the planet, which is Harvard Management, is cutting their BlackRock ETF exposure in Bitcoin and then rotating it to Ethereum. That means that they are under the assumption here that the market is about to pump for altcoins. And to be fair, when you look at the markets overall, Bitcoin down on the day, Ethereum up on the day. Solana still kind of bleeding out on the day, but XRP up on the day. Tau up 3% on the day. ICP up a little bit. What else do we have here that's kind of moving a little bit? Aptos is up 28%, by the way, but there is no trade volume over there. So it's been up 28% for a long time. I think Aptos is dead. I think Aptos is just like catastrophically dead. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't look like it's moving anymore. let's see where we are. We're number 68 overall crypto, 721 million market cap. Volume is only 60 million. The volume is only 60 million, which means that people are just done with it. And it's down 90% right now from the all-time high, which, whatever. Matter of fact, if you look over here, let me show you what Terra Luna Classic is doing right now. Terra Luna Classic, with a much smaller market cap, has about half the volume right now. So, yeah, that's very, very weird. So, not sure exactly what's going on with Aptos, but we're going to remove that from our list because we're not looking at that anymore. By the way, sitting at $1.28, but in the market, it says it's 93 cents. So, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I would be nervous about Aptos right now for whatever reason. We got Brett up another 2%. You know, Brett's really having a remarkable comeback in short little spurts. I keep seeing these big movements. So I think that if you can catch a bottom on Brett and you can establish that bottom, then you've got an opportunity to make a nice little snipe off of it. So if you are somebody who wants to buy some Brett, here's what I would say. I would take this range right here at around 0.0067 and just set a little buy order. I'm not saying that that's going to even trigger. I'm not saying that it's going to come back down. Most likely it's going to come back down. And in fact, what I would set is a buy at 5 or 6 as well, right there at 0.006. Set 2 buys, one at 0.0067 and one at 0.0060. Double at 0.0060. So you put $100 in at 0.0067 and then put $200 in at 0.0060. And that'll DCA you down about 2/3 of the way to like 6.2, 0.0062, something like that. If it moves back up to where it's comfortable, which is this range right there, that range right there, if it moves back into that, and look at that, that's got support right there, it's got resistance right there. So, you know, what you could look at is a move down here, you get some accumulation, and then boom, get a little breakout right there, and your complete move here would be about 30%. So if you want to take some risk, Brett might be one to take a risk on. By the way, I'm not partnered with Brett. I've never talked to anybody from Brett. I have nothing to do with Brett. I just, you know, I'm looking at the chart, and that chart seems like it's one that has an opportunity. And by the way, what I mean by this is that it's going to do what it's doing right there, but it also did it right here. Look at right here. You had that move right there, and then this right here was down here. And you see how it broke down? After breaking down right here, we had a run back up to the top, then we had a break back down to the bottom, we had a fake out, then we had another run back to the top, then we had a break back down. So if you played this right here and recognized, and then played this right here and recognized, and then played this right here and recognized, and played this right here and recognized, you're going to be in great shape. You're going to be in great shape. So look for opportunities like that, and it just looks like there's an opportunity like that right now. Now, in the event that something goes bullish in the market and you get a breakout, then you're going to have accumulated right here, and you're going to get a 120% gain off of that move right there, just assuming right there that, what's that, 120% exactly. It's 120% gain off of this. So it's some opportunity right there for a big move on Brett. So pay attention to it. I'm not saying that it will do it. I'm just saying that it sure looks like there's some opportunity, meat on the bone, if you will. Volt, by the way, is up 11% on the day. Not sure what's going on over there. Accelerate is up 3.6% on the day. Not sure what's going on over there. So those are your updates. So anyway, Harvard Management, we're going to move on from that. XRP price prediction ahead of Supreme Court Trump tariff ruling. Now, this is one of those manipulation sort of articles to get people to pay attention, with the question being what's going on with the Trump ruling. Well, it is now said that on the docket for the Supreme Court, they've scheduled February 20 as a potential date for the Trump tariffs ruling. Meanwhile, the February 20th could mark a turning point in a closely watched Supreme Court battle. Remember, this was supposed to be resolved a month ago. The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to resume issuing opinions after a month-long winter recess. One of the pending cases includes a challenge against tariffs by Donald Trump. The case is about the application of the emergency power under the economic law of the USA. The case was argued in November by lawyers and deliberated on by justices since that time. The core issue is whether emergency powers provide a justification to sweep import duties. Critics indicate that the power of tariffs, rather than the executive branch, exists with Congress, and that is true for the Constitution. We don't worry about the Constitution here, like Jesus Christ. In case the Supreme Court declares the tariff unlawful, The businesses are entitled to a refund. These claims might consist of billions of dollars paid over a number of years. A ruling that could impact the tariff policy of Donald Trump can remake the trade, the crypto market such as XRP, and the price of consumers. So this is a potentially incredible moment or a potentially catastrophic moment. Now, in the event that they decide that the executive branch was within its power to use the emergency powers, okay? And, basically what they're saying is that we're in a quote unquote time of war, if you will. And they're using the term very broadly and very loosely, that we are at a trade war with the entire world who's been taking advantage of us. And the problem with that assessment is, if they're taking advantage of us, they were taking advantage of us with Congress aware of it, with the Senate aware of it, and with the presidency aware of it. And if it was such a big deal, why didn't the president who was in charge from, say, 2017 to 2021 do anything about it in 2017 or 2021? So, were we in a trade war then? Because he was saying that we were. This has got me nervous about overall markets. Now, the other thing is, if they vote positively, the judges are going to rule positively on this, then this is a catalyst for the crypto market to start taking off again. So I got my fingers crossed, hoping that we're going to see something significant get ready to happen. If Trump wins this is going to be great for the country, okay? So fingers crossed. Also, on ETFs now, the markets are closed today. For full disclosure. But we had 15 million in inflows on Friday, good sign. On the Ethereum side, we had $10 million in inflows, again, a good sign. On the Solana side, we had 1.5 million in inflows, again, a good sign. And on the XRP, we had 4.5 million in inflows, another really good sign. Now, doesn't make up for negative days, but it does show you the way this is heading right now, and that money is still flowing back into the markets and not out of the markets. By the way, how is my voice and how is everything today? I made some changes to the mic. I made some changes to everything, hoping that maybe, I don't know if there was a problem hearing me to begin with, but can you hear me better in your mind? I know you can't look at it specifically, but in your mind right now, do I sound better or do I sound worse than I did on Friday or Thursday or Wednesday of last week? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'm going to adjust this mic over the next couple days just to try to dial it in and get it just right. I think according to my audio mixer right now, I'm in the sweet spot, but I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? Lupin69 says, do you think Myro is dead? I don't think anything is dead. There are, by the way, there's a bunch of cryptos that you can make that argument with. And I've had Myro reach out to me over and over and over and over again. We did business for a long time. And I like that Myro project. But I mean, what do I ultimately think? I think that the market has been destroyed by, look, the market was destroyed in part by the crypto, not the crypto market, meme coin market was destroyed by a couple of different things. Number one, the Trump meme coin. Number two, the Melania meme coin. And number three, Polymarket and Kalshi, okay? The rest of the market, I don't prescribe to that, but what we lost here were degen and gamblers, okay? So whatever Myro is doing, whatever they've got going on, the only people that are left are the people who are trapped in a trade. That's what I would think is really happening. And that doesn't mean, by the way, that there's not going to be a massive, crazy, explosive sort of move. And what I mean by that is if you look at it from where the dip happened and you bought some Myro a couple days ago, like right down here on February 5th, if you got it at 2.03375, then you've had opportunities to run it up to about 2.04. That's a pretty good gain that you would get if you're, again, buying the bottom and selling the top. You get a 15% scalp on $1,000. It's $150. That's a pretty good deal. So I would say that I mean, that looks good to me. That doesn't look bad. You know what I mean? So ultimately, I don't know that Myro or any of these cryptos is ever going to pump again. I mean, you really have to look at where the liquidity extraction came from. Myro was one of them. If you look at the website, I mean, let's just go look at Myro's website and see, does it look different or does it look the same as it did 2 years ago? Remember we were doing videos on it like 1 or 2 years ago? And the website's not even loading. Yeah, Myro the dog, the site can't be reached. I don't know if that means that it's down, by the way. I don't know if that means it's down or not. Let's go to Twitter. Let's see what it's doing on Twitter. Twitter, by the way, was down all morning long. So they haven't made a post since January 22nd. They posted woof. It looks like they've reposted some stuff here. Maybe that's not right. Let's go back here. Yeah, they haven't posted in a long time. So I think they're just laying low right now. So I'm not going to say dead, but, all these people, Myro's testing the support zone inside the descending channel on the 30-day chart, broke down below that. We all know that. We all saw that on the chart. So, I think maybe they're just kind of sitting quietly and waiting to see if something happens in the market. But if the market were to pump right now, if the market were to get some meme coin action going again, Myro's going to pump. Myro's going to pump super hard. Also, don't forget the last time it had a nice big pump was December 25th around Christmas, and that pump was 100%. So if you were a risk taker, then 100% gain from this low where we are right now would put it right about where it is right there. And if you look at it from this context, let's do that one more time. Now from here to there is what? 100% gain. So looking at this, a test over here, that's 100% shot. And the last time we had a gain like that was trend line right there. So this trend line right here goes right there too. So if I'm looking at it from a voodoo standpoint, then 100% gain. If you get 100% gain, and no matter what your losses are, if you get 100% gain off of it, I would sell. If it does in fact move up into that range and we get that kind of breakout, even if you're down, I would sell. If you're $200, which is all that's left out of $1,000, becomes $400, take the $400. Now, why would you do that? If you are committed to Myro, then I would look at this as an opportunity for a move up, an opportunity to get some profit, and then it's going to break back down further. Then buy $400 worth over here. And if it does it again, you got $800. So you can claw your money back by just doing some successful trading on it. But really, I don't know. Myro, like many of these other ones, just kind of looks like they've been eaten up and destroyed by the markets. So Trump added tariffs in his first term. He bragged that Biden used them in the debate. That's like, and by the way, what kind of dummy says that Trump bragged that Biden used them in the debate? What? If something already existed and the president left the law as the law, what is he really saying? What he's telling you is that he has no respect for the law, which is crazy to me. How is that your argument? By the way, my Screeching Weasel t-shirt is now way too big. Jesus Christ, like I can't, it's like a blouse at this point. Man, this market needs to pump. This market needs to pump because I need $50,000 for a new wardrobe. Okay, so I need some 10Xs here. Jesus Christ. Let's get on that. Anyway, so back to what we were doing here before I went nuts. Extreme fear is where we are in the market still, and it won't last. But for right now, we are stuck in extreme fear. We're at 11 right now. The market is still not pricing in some solid movement here. So fingers crossed that we get some kind of move. Let's remember here, this is a historically bad moment for cryptocurrency. So hopefully we'll see some kind of move. I just, guys, I don't know. I really don't know. Every day I wake up and I look at these charts and I think like, it makes no sense what's happening right now. It makes no sense what's happening right now, other than to say that risk assets are under fire, and the Clarity Act being delayed is hurting, but it's not that bad. This is manipulation, no matter how you look at it. This is disgusting manipulation. By the way, I just saw my stats on Track My Trades. 20 of you have signed up on Track My Trades, so I want to thank each and every one of you guys for doing that. I don't have data on Crusader signals, but I also haven't been contacted. By the way, for those of you that don't know, that was Levi Reitfeld from, let me show you. Now, if you guys don't remember who this is, you notice the only thing that he has right now is X, or is an X on his screen right there, because he's farming the XRP for engagement. By the way, I should have done that shit. I absolutely should have done that shit. If you go down here and you look right now, 15,000, 19,000, 21,000, 13,000. All he's doing is just doing the same thing over and over and over again with just a different XRP article, and he's farming them for engagement, and he's done a great job, by the way, of farming them for engagement. But that's where this came from. That's where this all came from. And by the way, does he offer value? No, he does not. And by the way, that doesn't mean that I do. That doesn't mean that I do. But when you look at it, Elon Musk is about to fully adopt XRP. No, he's not. Brian Armstrong makes shocking XRP announcement. You won't believe this. But he didn't. Brace yourself. XRP is about to pull a very shocking move. Been saying this for, guys, it's been saying this for a long time. And none of these ever happen. None of these ever happen. But, farming them for engagement. Anyway, that's where Crusader Signals comes from. So I don't have the data. When they gave me the link, it was just a link to Crusader Signals. And then we'll see what happens after that. I don't know. Not really sure how. I'll let you know later. Anyway, so Bitcoin liquidation heat map, if you look at it right now, it looks like there's a reason for some downward momentum, but it also looks like there's a lot of people putting in a lot of shorts here at 69,000 right now. That's where the biggest pocket of liquidity is on the shorter time frames. We go to the 3-day, we still see just some heat right there at 67,000. Not much on the upside, so we don't really have that upside momentum. Going to the 2-week, we're looking at different time frames right now as opposed to what we normally look at to get kind of an idea. But when you start to zoom out and you start to see this in the 2-week time zone, guess what? There's a lot of money right now laying it right there at 73,000. And then all the way up here to 80,000. Okay. If this were to happen and we were to get a positive move, we would be annihilating a lot of shorts and the market would pump because of it. Like this is what we're looking for. We're looking for a move from 70,000 to 80,000 for Bitcoin. Like that. That's what could potentially happen if we get the right motivation and the right move in the right direction. So that's how it lines up. Myro, well, we already talked about that one. I don't know what to say other than that. Now, the market is down $13 billion. Because the markets are closed today, this is what we're looking at. This is the 1 hour, by the way. This is how the 1 hour chart is breaking out. And when we look at it from a Bollinger Band standpoint, guess what we're getting? We're getting a nice little tightening up right now. Look at how wide all of this was right here from this impulse move, which was at 2 a.m. yesterday, coming down and consolidating. And by the way, this is consolidating in the exact range that I tell you guys, this is the spot right here. This is where you want to go long. Right now at 2.3 trillion market cap, wherever Bitcoin is at 2.3 trillion market cap, that's where we probably are going to get the bounce. Bitcoin, very, very tight in the channel right now, which means a breakout is imminent, but is it a breakout or is it a breakdown? That's going to be the question right now. So we're down $16 billion while the traders are off today. Ethereum, which was pumping, is also tightening up. So Solana tightening up. And by the way, it's expanding, but it looks like it's expanding to the downside. So that might be a portent to say that, you know, the market is going to start bombing out. We're at 9:30 right now. We're at Jane Street o'clock where, you know, a lot of sell-off starts to happen. In a closed market, that's not happening. This is going to be manipulation. And there it went. We just lost $10 billion in market cap in the time it took me to tell one sentence. So it looks like the market is going to come back down. So, and with that, let's go make a quick move ourselves, and let's go to futures. And my Tau trade is up 20% right now. My Tau trade is up 20% right now. Boom, 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 boom. You know what? Let's, okay. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in here and we're gonna put another, we're gonna DCA just a little bit over here on futures because my ICP trade is now down a little bit and we're seeing a sell-off happening in the market. Let's see how deep this is gonna go. What are we looking for out of a market? Let's go back over here. Let's get into this right now and let's see where are we headed. Now, it triggered that lower level already at 2.3 trillion. So that sell-off that we just had actually did exactly what I was just talking about. It came down and it knocked out that area. So if it goes down 70 billion down to this range, okay, all right. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's put this back up right here. Got to go to work. Jordan's tool belt's going to work. Put that work in, dog. Let's boom, 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 boom. So we're gonna go and we're gonna add. So we just bought $25 worth of ICP at 235.7. All right, so we're down just a little bit on this. And actually the sell-off is accelerating, so that's going to suck. We're at 37. We're down 37 billion. Jane Street must be on the clock. There's an L in that. So maybe the sell-off is going to continue here. Anyway, let's move on from that. Let's go to all chains. Total DeFi over the weekend is now down to 6 billion, maybe 7 billion if you round up, but 6 billion, which means that it's still in a bad strait. The rest of the market here, Dev just sold off 30% in the last, is it few minutes? I don't think so. No, so it's down 28% from its high, which would, by the way, Dev, which was at 5 cents the other day, went back up to 9 cents. So anybody who scalped that got, you know, about a 80% gain off of it. But it's down a little bit in the last hour as we got a little bit of sell-off. But again, when you look at it from a little bit of sell-off standpoint, go look here, and it's not a lot. So buy and sell volume is still 27,000. Oh, you know what? Duh, stupid. 27,000 buy, 27,000 sell. Why are we down 9% in 1 hour? Well, the answer to that is going to be Ethereum price. So this is basically the Ethereum price getting dunked on right now by these scumbags in the market. Ethereum, a little red candle. We're at the bottom of the range on it. So if there's downward momentum, we had a little bit of sell-off. And then Ethereum is not holding up very well. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Anyway, that's going to be the show, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. 36 minutes into it. I think we did a good job. Like, I think we got all the information, all the data that we needed. If you are looking for opportunity right here, I would suggest Definity. Again, Definity. So to be full disclosure, I am sponsored by Definity, and I made a long-term partnership with Definity. I do intend, by the way, to have a long-term partnership with Dev, but I'm waiting for Tom to make that move. It's going to be like a couple weeks for their financing and stuff like that to go through. So, you know, once that's done, then, you know, maybe we'll be talking more about Dev, because, you know, that is my passion project. You guys know that pretty well. But Definity, they are the payment rail for the Midnight blockchain. The Midnight blockchain has now announced that they will launch at the end of March. So, and by the way, there is a rumor right now. I'm going to give you a rumor. If you make money off of this, don't forget the tip. okay? And don't tip here, by the way, because YouTube takes 30%. When you tip here, YouTube takes 30% of it. If you want to tip me, go to one of the wallets down below and tip me in one of the wallets down below. Send me crypto. Send me whatever you got. You know what I mean? But my point to it is, if you make a bunch of money off of this news that I'm about to give you, then don't forget to tip, okay? Midnight is going to be listed on Binance this week. You heard it here first. It's not financial advice. If you stuck around, you're about to get a real gem of a nugget. Remember, when you get listed on Binance, it does cause a little bit of a pump, especially something that's down at the bottom of a range. So you could be looking at a 40 to 80% pump in very short order if you buy some Midnight right now, or at least buy during this dip. So not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune out of George. No value. Make sure you tune out of Randy after the birthday. And let's make some money together. We'll talk to you again very, very